Today we're going to do a recap on The Golden Bachelor, Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2. Let's get into it. I love a good reality show, but one show that I had never really gotten into was The Bachelor. I have never watched an episode of The Bachelor, maybe have watched a couple of clips here and there, but it never was a show that I could get into. But this time I'm going to give The Golden Bachelor a try because people are really getting excited about The Golden Bachelor and really getting caught up in it. So I decided that I've watched all 4 episodes, and now I'm going to give a recap of episodes in this video 1 and 2, and then I may do 2 and 3, or I may break them up. But the premise of the show The Bachelor is there's a man who he has women that he has to choose from. He goes out on dates with each woman, meets their family. And after each show, he gives women a rose that he wants to stay there, and then the other ones have to go home. So that's the premise of The Bachelor. And The Golden Bachelor is the same, except these are older people. So the Bachelor, his name is Gary Turner. He's 72 years old, and he has 22 women that he has to choose from. So the show starts off with Gary talking about his life and talking about his wife. They were married for 43 years. It was his high school sweetheart. So Gary's a widow. And he's saying that he's ready to finally take another try on love. So he's decided to go on The Bachelor. And now it's called The Golden Bachelor. So then we're introduced to the women. They get out of the limousine, and he meets each woman. And each woman has a little skit that they do to try to get Gary's attention. I would say some of the standouts, for me anyway, and you can tell me in the comments who you think that some of the standouts were. I would say Edith, Sandra, Leslie, and Faith. I thought those were some of the standouts from the beginning. And these are not your typical, I guess they'd be called senior citizens. Most of them, they look really good. They're in good shape. They're keeping themselves up, especially like Edith. She steps out in this beautiful golden dress, and she looks so nice. And then also Leslie, she's 64. She's a dancer and a fitness instructor, and you can really tell that she keeps herself in shape, and she looks really nice. And then at the end, Jimmy Kimmel's aunt steps out of the car. Her name is Chippy. She's 84 years old. Not quite sure why she's on the show, but maybe they'll explain that later on to us of why she's even on the show. But she does bring a little comedy to the show. And then he meets each woman, and he has to give a first impression rose. And he gives a first impression rose to Faith. And Faith is 61 years old, and she's the one who rides up on a motorcycle, and like I said, she's in good shape. She looks really nice, and so he gives the first impression rose to her. They have the rose ceremony, and 16 women stay and 6 women leave. So now we're down to 6 women left for him to choose from. And now we move on to episode 2. In episode 2, the women get to go to the beautiful mansion and pick out their rooms, and they're going to give out a date card to one of the women so that they can go on a one-on-one date with Gary. And the date card goes to Teresa. And he goes on the date with Teresa. It starts out a little shaky because he's riding down the interstate in a convertible, and the lights are not working. He's not used to driving in that area, and he's a little nervous. But they finally do get to their destination, which is like a little diner. And him and Teresa have a very similar story. They're both widows. They both married their high school sweetheart, and they both were married a pretty long time to their high school sweetheart. And they get along really well, and they have a great date together, and he gives her a rose. And then they have a group date that they all go on, and they have a photo shoot with Gary during that group date. During that time, he has a connection with Nancy because she's getting a little sad thinking about her husband, and he's still thinking about his wife, and they have a really good connection together, and he ends up giving a rose to Nancy. And then it is his birthday, so they have a little birthday celebration for Gary. And then we move on to the rose ceremony. There are 16 women left, and he gives out 12 roses, and 4 women go home. The women that go home are Natasha, Jeannie, Peggy, and Marina. So now we're down to 12 women. And I would say the standout women to me, anyway, and you can put your comments below to let me know who your standouts are now, is Edith, Sandra, and Susan. Those are the ones that I like. Especially, I think Edith is just really attractive. I'm not going to say the connection is as good as some of the other women, but I just think she's just a very attractive, and I like the way she carries herself. But those are my standouts. I hope this video has helped you catch up on The Golden Bachelor, episodes 1 and 2. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.